Reverend, let me ask you, Mimi was talking about Parnas. We've all been talking about Parnas. Shady guy, allegations, but still, this is a trial. What do you do? What do we do as a country now thinking about the jurors in the trial, otherwise known as United States senators? Because in any legal aspect here, you're going to get shady people on the stand. You're going to get allegations on the stand. It just happens every single day in courtrooms across this country. What do we do about United States senators / jurors who have already said, there's nothing here?
I think that what you're going to do is you're going to have the public now, particularly after Parnas' interview and Bolton saying that he wanted to testify, demand that we want to see a trial. The irony is Rudy Giuliani, who has bragged about how he broke the mob, how he was the one that stopped the mob, that he prosecuted them successfully. How did he do it? He got mobsters to turn on them. He had the mob's Parnases to testify against them. So now you have Parnas that is prepared to testify against him out of the Giuliani school book. He's using his own method of Giuliani against him. Who else can testify against shady people? The real question is, why were you hanging with shady people, Rudy? Why were you taking photographs, Mr. President, with shady people? You were all in the shade together. And I think that is what they're going to have to deal with the public. Because either you are part of the shade or you're part of the sunshine. And let us bring into the sunshine all of the people that's been hiding under the shade and see what's really there.
Well, and by the way, I mean, if they want to see where this ends up, just look at poor old Devin Nunes. Like Nunes, he lied about not knowing Parnas. And last night he was outed. He had to admit that he was a liar, that when it came to Parnas.
Right.
Mike Pence is so exposed. Does Mike Pence really think he gets away with this? I mean, because nobody's going to get it's all out. Like, they've lifted up the rock. The cockroaches are going to be running around all over the place. And none of these people want to have them come, crawling up their leg. They need to get in front of this.
Absolutely. You are now seeing in Joe Revenal talk, the cockroaches and the bed bugs are united and headed to
Oh, wait a second. Nobody brought up Doral, which, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but Doral has...
I know how to get them going. I know how to get them going.
I'm itching right now because they have so many...
Like this guy
have
sued,
a bed bug infestation. Could you imagine going to Doral and going away with bites all over? It's horrible. But anyway, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, but I think that we're seeing the uniting of it. I think history will say that the interview with Parnas and him coming forward will either determine whether we have a fair trial or whether we lose Senate seats and possibly the White House. This is a real turning point because he was so good in terms of how Rachel brought him to connect documents with testimony that I don't care how shady he is, there was so much there to America now wants to know what it is he has to say. And put him under cross-examination, beat him down, prove him to be a liar, but don't just tell us he's a liar.
But, Mimi, the truth in all this is, yes, you can call it a bombshell interview last night because it was. But what he really did was confirm a series of bombshells that had already been presented to us over the course of the impeachment hearing, from Marie Yovanovitch, from Gordon Sondland, from Fiona Hill, from Lieutenant Colonel Vindman. The list goes on and on. So I think if Lev Parnas had been the first voice we'd heard from on this Ukraine story, you could say, wait a minute. Who is this guy? What's he talking about? Is he inventing a story? He's come at the end of the process, and all he's done is confirm documentary and testimonial evidence.
Right, but that all he's done is what's so important, right? It's what Rev's talking about. If anybody watches Parnas's interview, her interview of Parnas, everything he says makes total sense to us because we've heard the story. This is like the final chapter, and it's not like you hear Parnas and say, what? You hear what Parnas is saying, and you say, oh, yeah. Remember Marie Yovanovitch was scared? Remember we heard about the text messages about trying to get the president of Ukraine to make the statement? Look at the timing of those right after the phone call between Trump and the president of Ukraine. So everything fits together. This is what investigators and prosecutors do in criminal cases, as you said, every day all across the country. They connect the dots. dots. Parnas is like the middle big dot, you know, the hub connecting everything. And the idea that we're going to have an impeachment trial and he's not going to get to testify under oath. And as you say, fine, challenge him. But you know what? I think he holds up under challenge. I mean, there's just too much there that corroborates what he's saying from other witnesses we've heard from who've never spoken to Lev Parnas in their life, right?
Right.
Marie Yovanovitch and Lev Parnas have a lot of the same things to say. They've probably never even been in the same room together. So that's incredible.
Yeah.
So that's corroboration.
And Rev, I mean, it's one thing if you have testimony. If this guy had just fallen out of the sky and said, I have this incredible story to tell that you're not going to believe. But it's actually, the sequencing is perfect because you had the whistleblower, who, by the way, what the whistleblower is saying now is actually pretty boring compared to what we've learned. And step by step, it's built to this moment. And he's got the documents. Like that hotel note from Vienna, where he laid the entire conspiracy out on a small little notepad. It fits, and any prosecutor would look at it. Bill Barr, if he were a prosecutor instead of the president's henchman, Bill Barr would look at that and say, we got to move on this. Get Zelensky to announce that the Biden case will be investigated. Start communication with Zelensky. He laid out the entire drug deal.
And he has the documents that corresponds with it. You have Bolton, who has said he will testify, who got this huge advance to write a book. Nobody gives you a big advance to write complimentary words about Trump.
Right.
So obviously he's saying something. He can't testify to something that he's got in a book the opposite of. I think the president has reason to have real concern here. And who would have ever thought that bringing in Rudy Giuliani, the one who locked up all the shady people, would be the one to bring the shade on your presidency and probably pull the curtain?
I mean,
Wow.
Rudy Giuliani is responsible for the impeachment of Donald J. Trump.
Mimi Rocha.
There's not a historian who won't come to that conclusion. This is all on Giuliani's shoulder, and it keeps getting worse because of Giuliani's bumbling. It's shocking.
And Reverend Al, thank you both for being on this morning. Great to have you, Mimi and Rev.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.